Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Yovassaker Fine Arts Center and the gallery reception for Matt Moberg. We've got, I think, a really engaging set of work on the walls here. I've been hearing a lot of chatter about it, a lot of people very interested in what's this all about. And I've gotten to know Matt Moberg. We've met in person maybe 3 times now, and we're pretty sure we're soulmates. We're BFFs. And I promise you, we don't know exactly what we're going to talk about, but I promise you engagement. I know the best way I can describe the experiences that I've had with Matt Moberg is like a weather pattern. He arrives, and this is happening. This is happening. And so, fasten your seatbelts, I say. A lot of interesting topics for us to get into today, and I'll save a lot of that. Matt and I are going to talk with microphones up here. We'll be on stools together. He asked that we start with this WCCO piece to kind of get us up to speed, so we'll start with this video.
Art also happens to be the way another Minnesota man got through the most difficult challenge of his life. He recently marked 2 years in his commitment to sobriety.
And he says it was both family and work that gave him the strength he needed. Our Pauline Lee reports his journey hasn't been easy, but the difficult road has led to some beautiful creations and revelations.
You walk away energized. How could you not?
In a small home office in Minneapolis, Matt Moberg finds bliss between his brushstrokes.
Every stroke, I tried to think about what is the good gift that I got to wake up to today. The beauty of it takes a lot of strokes to make a big painting.
These days, he says he has a lot to be thankful for.
So how's life?
I'm grateful. Another day, another chance to come out and try to be better.
A self-taught artist.
What does water look like that?
Dedicating time to his craft just about every day.
And so I think I've been really drawn to horses, especially as of late.
Each colorful creation
There's so much color in here.
Gives him meaning.
It keeps me alive, keeps me sane.
And reflection on how hard it's been to get to this point.
It's preemptive. It's how I make sure that I don't go back to where I once was.
A husband and father of 3, he also serves as a pastor at The Table, a church in South Minneapolis, and as co-chaplain for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's also a musician.
Yeah.
But a couple of years ago, it all became too much.
You are Superman. You are capable. You can be in all places at once and be everybody's answer to everybody's question, but I can't. And I think for me, it's been a very destructive force to lie about who I actually am.
So destruction, what kind of destruction?
It turned to drinking all the time. It got really bad in ways people don't know,
He struggled, knowing he needed help, but not knowing how to get it.
I mean, can we get real? I was driving home, and I had been drinking pretty heavily, and I was hoping I would get into an accident or the cops would pull me over and force my hand to try to go into recovery or change things.
There was no crash and no police to pull him over. But there were 3 young boys at home who looked to him as a role model.
If I need a drink to be a good dad, that's not who I'm aspiring to be. It's not what I believe is good. It's not what's healthy.
He started going to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings.
The tokens, the medallions that we got, these are some of mine right here.
In some ways, he says it was freeing.
When I was able to say out loud in the presence of others that, hi, I'm Matt, and I'm an alcoholic. I've been terrified of saying those words out loud for a long time.
The art became a part of his recovery as a suggestion from his therapist.
Now, pink on the nose, not as psyched about that one. Part of it, too, is I'm not on a stage, There's not a guitar on me. There's not a pulpit before me. I don't need to be anybody or for. This is just can you just let whatever comes out, come out?
He now sells his work on his website and has also commissioned pieces for the Timberwolves, including one for this season's City Edition jersey release.
I'm kind of digging this one.
But success has also come with setbacks.
Yeah.
Matt has relapsed twice in the past couple of years, most recently last summer when his wife Lauren found him on the floor, unresponsive, and had to call an ambulance.
Like, I remember the smell of the hospital. I remember, like, looking at her. I remember telling Lauren, like, I don't know why I'm in the hospital.
But for every relapse, there's a chance at recovery.
And for me, like, the idea of I just fell flat on my face, but I can get up again is powerful.
More than 9 months have passed since then.
What's your longest stretch of being sober? Is it right now?
I think so, yeah.
How does it feel?
I feel really good right now.
Art continues to be his constant.
There's that therapeutic meditative side for me with art.
And he hopes it serves as a reminder for others that things aren't always black and white.
That's a sweet, like, blendy kind of color that we got going on here.
That each piece is progress, not perfection.
It's not over, it would be my #1 message.
And every day is a chance to keep fighting.
Life is a gift. Love is the point. And the more you try to outrun who you actually are, the more you miss out on that gift. Wow. I thought it was just a couple of y'all behind me, but there's a whole room here, huh? You guys, I apologize. That's the first time I've... Jason.
Hi, Matt. Hello. Matt and I have talked a few times. We recorded a podcast episode for Whistle the Feast, and that was tremendous. That'll come out months from now. And today, Matt visited abnormal psychology class and had I think, a really fantastic interaction with students there. They had really insightful questions, and Matt really showed up. And then he just expressed to me that this feels different. Like this room, when you make art, it feels different. There's something more like exposed and vulnerable about having this stuff just out there. And if you make art, maybe you feel that, you recognize that. And if you consume and don't make, you might not know what that's like. You might not realize that it's kind of hard to even be in the same room sometimes as your work.
It is, yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm butt naked in front of everybody right now, which is just an uncomfortable position to be in. I think one of the things I was telling Jason is we had a very raw, honest, transparent conversation with the psych class today, and it was wonderful, and I appreciated it. This does feel more vulnerable, and I think when I've stepped on stages or in front of crowds in the past, I've had a pulpit performer, I've had a guitar on me, and I have to execute in that moment, but this is different. These are finished paintings that you are looking at, but I think one of the reasons why I'm so emotional is because I can remember being in the room with just these things and not knowing what I was doing, and I remember painting this guy right here, realizing that sobriety is just holding on to a rope as hard as you can. I remember painting the drunkard's wife over there, and thinking, I don't know how to best present what I've done to my wife in the patience and grace and courage that she hasn't left me yet. All of these paintings are stories. They all were cooked in a beautiful, painful, and everything in between kind of oven, and they just mean a lot to me. So again, I apologize for being butt naked in front of you, but this is just where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Good. That's what we want, I guess.
I don't think you're going to want to cut that from the recording.
Maybe not. Okay, so I've got the benefit of notes from our podcast, and I'm gonna try to take us back to some themes there. Well, first of all, maybe an origin story. Let's talk about how you started to paint.
Yeah.
Because, let's do an origin story of how I got you here, and then how you got to make things. How I got you here was the algorithm. Instagram fed your work to me, and I started to see images of Jesus painted in bright colors and expressionistic brushwork, and I thought, this hits the same Venn diagram that we try to hit here at Bethany. Somebody who's trying to show an old thing in a new way, somebody who is dancing with it, And the crossover, the Venn diagram that I referred to is your faith and your creativity. And that felt very right. And then, I made contact through a direct message, and then pretty soon we leveled up to email. And then on the email, what do they call it at the bottom? The signature. Represented by Douglas Flanders and Associates Gallery, making me jealous. And then underneath that, chaplain for the Timberwolves. And I thought, this guy doesn't lead with that, chaplain with the Timberwolves. So to me, it's been an unfolding story to learn that this guy was invited to sing on The Voice in Los Angeles. There's more. There's just more and more and more. But your origin story, let's talk about how you started painting.
Yeah, well, okay. So I was leading a church called The Table, this beautiful, robust community in South Minneapolis that is still going strong to this day. I also was trying to be a good husband and dad and a good chaplain, a musician. I was putting on a lot of different hats, and it got heavy for a little while because I started convincing myself that I could actually do it well, that I could do the dance of like this, then there, then that. But as I was doing so, like the expectations started to grow a little bit more. And I think for me, I always kind of attached how I perform to how much I'm worth. And so if I failed to perform, if I fumbled one of those things, then I failed to, I'm not worth anything. Like there's an absence of value in my own life that I would discern if I'm not actually performing the way that I believed God had wanted me to perform. So I was running crazy, and I found this performance-enhancing drug called alcohol that duped me into believing that I could actually do it, that it was feasible, and that not only that it was feasible, but that it actually made me better. Like it made me more present with my kids. It made me more engaging as a speaker. It made me more creative. It made me all the different lies that alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful, will dupe you into believing. I bought, and I was sold, and I started to drink a lot until I realized like I shouldn't be drinking this much. And I went to my therapist and started talking to her about anxiety stuff, and I said, like, I feel like I'm trying to do all these things very well, and I'm losing my mind a little bit. And she goes, well, what's something that you know you can't do well at all? Well, I said, well, that's not very complicated because I've always had like terrible tremors in my hands. And so I know for a fact I can't draw, I can't paint. And so that would be something that never really tried because that's a thing. She said, that's the thing. Like you need to go home and start doing that. And being the addict that I am, I went home and I started doing that every day, and I got swept up in it. I found space to breathe, to catch up with myself. Medicinal territory for me, still is to this day. And it's just been following where it leads ever since I started doing that.
How long ago was that?
That was 4 or 5 years ago now.
You started painting 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Also jealous.
Yeah.
I've got a note here from our podcast talk. I'm just me, I'm just here.
I said that?
You said that. You said so many great things. I'm just me, I'm just here. And I think that's right now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that's happening.
Yeah, I think that's even some of the things I'm feeling right now is just the surreal nature of this. Like, just telling you what I told you, I sat down to start drawing and painting as a means of finding myself, as a means of like learning how to stand still and find peace and wholeness, a glimpse at what could be, and not just always scarcity trying to survive as I go from one thing to the next. And now these things are here, and they're all around me, and that's a really weird, surreal thing to try to connect those dots because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, so you express that you look around and you wonder where all these things come from.
Yeah, a little bit.
How did this happen?
Yeah, well, and part of it too is like once I finish a piece, as much of a trip as it was to do, I'm on to the next thing. You know, I mean, it was a good gift, and I'm glad I got to participate in it. But then I moved to the next thing, and so it's like catching up with all these old friends when you see it for First time you haven't seen him in a while.
So you showed up in a U-Haul about a week ago,
Yeah.
and you had picked up a lot of your paintings from the gallery,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
From storage, from display,
Yeah.
and we're borrowing them. By the way, most, all are for sale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Price tags are on them. Proceeds go to the artist.
Yep.
Let's maybe get into a work. Do you want to pick a work?
How about you pick a work?
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of interest in the sour cream one.
Oh, the sour cream one.
A lot of food analogies. We were
the
making
sour cream one is a
food
little
analogies.
bit. This one's not like the other ones. It's not like the other ones. I'm not like naturally drawn towards abstract work. More and more I am, but that's not like my natural go-to. But when I was in rehab, a therapist tasked us with creating something or finding a way that we can access peace. And that was a time for me where everything was very loud and chaotic and noisy. And so I just wanted white paint in front of me that I could sit and stare at and mold. And it's made kind of with drywall paste as well, so it cracks a little bit. And I think that's reflective of how it works, is you do your best to keep things clean and orderly, and the cracks still come, and the curb walls still fly. And so that piece is born from that spot.
Good. Let's go across to the right of the door, right by that fire alarm.
Okay. Yeah, that is based on a quote from Ram Dass, which says, "We are all just walking each other home," which I think, man, when we started our church, it was really hard to start a church. I didn't know that. I didn't set out to become a pastor. So it was like, we're building this community as you go, and as you do so, and it's organically, and it's, real life, it can get contentious. And there can be a lot of like strong opinions, and there can be a lot of things that feel like convictions, but probably are just opinions. And it can be tough to try to figure out how to best be married to one another and walk with each other as we go about these things. And there's a good grace, a humility that comes with that we're all doing the best we can. We're all just walking each other home. So be gentle with each other out there. And that for me was changing how I led people in our community, how I was responding to others, myself, is that we're all doing the best we can with what we got and what we don't got.
You're doing great.
Thank
How
you.
about the stacked people next to the window?
Yeah. Again, a lot of these are like sobriety 101 values that we kind of dwell on: gratitude and humility. That one right there is, I went through this process when I was at rehab where they did a very good job of helping me understand that my story didn't start with me, my story won't stop with me. There was a before, there will be an after. You're here for a moment, but then you are gone, and so you are standing on the shoulders of those who are standing on the shoulders of those who are standing on the shoulders of those. I don't know my great-great-grandpa's name. I don't know my great-great-grandma's name. But I'm here because of them. Like, they made me who I am. And so I think that is just a reminder for me that, like, we're not the main characters we like to believe we are. Yeah.
My favorite piece is that deer
Yeah.
in the middle of the wall.
My favorite piece is that girl next to it. What's up, baby? Sorry about that.
Well, you can choose which one you want to talk about.
I think the thing that I'm drawn to, whether it's talking about hard things or beautiful things, is that there is a thing behind the thing. Like, nothing is as it first appears. There's more that is happening. As we said in the podcast, there is like this holy hum that undergirds all things. And so we're up at the cabin with our boys, and we look in the woods, and there's a deer, and we just saw a deer, which is like, we see a lot of deer. Like, it's not a big deal, it's a deer. But that's a deer. Like, that's a creation of God's. There's a radiance to it that if you just linger long enough in your life, like, you can catch how beautiful and amazing it all is. And I feel like that's one of my aspirational pursuits. Somebody asked me, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or what are you trying to get after? And I said, well, I hope I can keep seeing the glimmer and the radiance and appreciating the thing behind the thing, because I think that's where the life is.
The holy hum that undergirds all.
Can you tell how ADHD I am when I'm walking around all the
No,
time?
I was hoping that you would get up.
Yeah. You want to join me or no?
You're doing great. Because the camera can only follow one of us.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the camera. I'm sorry.
Love is moving slowly through the world.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Love is moving slowly through the world. I think that love
There's
has
a thing
pace
behind
to
the thing, though.
Yeah, there is. I do. I think, again, at the risk of being redundant, so much of the harm that I've done to others and to myself has come from running really fast and trying to do a lot of things all the time, and thinking that's just a deer, and thinking that we are here just to, achieve these things and check boxes and get to the next thing. I don't believe that's true, and it doesn't feel like love. I think that love is slow. It's empathy. It's listening longer than you typically would. It's paying attention. I think that one of the most powerful words in my life is the word linger, and I think that, my Jesus paintings, they're all born from that space. It's the white space between the black ink in the Bible. It's the shooting at Annunciation that night, and just picturing Jesus weeping. It's the absence of Jesus laughing and having joy and telling jokes and thinking it's hilarious when his friends farted and things like that. We should tell these stories. There's a beautiful, robust image of Jesus that we can see if we linger long enough to take it in. And so I think I think love has a pace, and I think it's slow. And I think that's where the life is too.
How about the guy with the kitty?
The kidney.
Kitty.
Oh, the kitty.
Kitty.
The
Kitten.
kitty, yeah. Yeah, that's... I think that one of the things that has been a conversation culturally and in my life personally and in my community is trying to figure out what does it mean to be a man, and what does strength look like, what does gentleness look like, what does it look like to be brave and courageous and also humble and empathetic. And that painting came out of that trying to figure it out. Yeah. I don't know how to say it any better. Like, it was kind of like, it's something like, it's the soft, it's the strong, it's this, and it's also that. It's not one thing. It's a story.
It's a crowd favorite.
For real.
Yeah, a lot of people love that.
True story. I brought that to the gallery that represents my work, and the guy that runs the gallery goes, "Yeah, what is this?" And I said, "Thank you so much for that high praise that I worked so hard on. Appreciate that." Yeah.
Let's get a sense of routine, or like how do you make these things? Do you have a routine that you go through? Do you have a space?
I've tried to just paint on demand. I mean, as far as like, I do paint on demand, but I found that unless I'm really excited about an idea or feel like there's something in me that needs to come out in some way, that it's hard for me to engage all the way through. Easy to start, hard to finish type thing. And so it looks different, I think, each time, but especially because I just do a lot of different mediums. I got charcoal drawings, I got ink wash technique, I got oil, we got acrylic, we got looser strokes, we got more precision. Like, there's kind of a wild variety of approaches, and it's not me being intentionally diverse with what I do. It's more just following where it leads.
Yeah, and the way I would describe that is that you're present. You're paying attention right now, and you're working with what's in your attention right now.
Yeah.
At the easel.
And trying to trust, I think that there's trying to trust the resonance when I feel it. I don't know if I have a problematic curse of perfectionism in a lot of different ways, so I don't know if I'll ever be fully psyched head to toe with a piece and going like, I finally did it. I did it. That's the one that's going to change the world. But like this painting I did the other day of this grandma holding the baby, hello, I love you, goodbye. I set out with intentions of painting a lot more there, but I got to a place where it just felt sufficient and learned to trust that. And I don't know, maybe
Now
I
you
should have
can't
painted more.
just drop the other day and not keep talking. Now you've said that a few times about several pieces. Some of these are still wet. Some of these you made kind of in
first of all,
anticipation for this show.
yeah,
Some things are like some of this just happened, according to you, very recently.
yeah. In this room, that cow happened 2 days ago. Thank you, sir. And hello, I love you, goodbye happened last week. And the deer happened, Lauren, when did that one happen? Last Friday?
You were here 2 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
You painted it before
Yeah.
you got in the car.
Yeah. No. Something's not adding up here. I don't know, man. Just leave me alone, okay? Yeah. Yeah.
You told me that you tell your kids, and I think I detected them.
They're up there somewhere.
There you are. Hi, guys. That you tell them something amazing is going to happen today.
Yeah.
And I'm detecting that in you, that you believe in possibility.
Well, I'm telling them as much as I'm telling me is I can't look at them without getting emotional. Can you guys leave? Like, what are you doing?
Daddy's working.
I mean it though. Like it's again like what happened in Annunciation, what is happening all over the world, what's happening in our lives, whether it's how people, life is so short and it's so fragile, and I don't want to walk through life as a cynic. I want to live with eyes wide open and expecting something beautiful is going to happen, and that deer is not just the deer. And
Like the deer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think it takes so much intentionality, and I'm not very good at it, so I tell the boys that in the morning so I can say it to myself.
So we're rehearsing possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's in opposition to fear.
Yeah,
You don't
for
want to
sure.
be driven by fear.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think for sure. I think there's a lot of, I think that when you go through a lot of stretches too, part of it is like, when you've seen how bad it can be and you've felt like what rock bottom looks like, there's a reason why addicts are so grateful. There's a reason why, like, when you go to an AA room, it's like the most grateful space in the world because you've seen rock bottom, and so you believe that there's a new possibility for tomorrow. Like, you believe that anything could happen. Like, there's good gifts around the corner, so why wouldn't you have your eyes wide open to see what that gift may be? And so I do think I also think that it's part of, like, my faith. Like, we don't serve a God who died on Friday. We serve a God who rose on Sunday. And I think that there's a profound difference between how we posture our lives in response to the two. And
Sure. Where is your attention? That's what you're talking about. What
Yeah.
do we pay attention to
yeah,
in the world, or what's our attitude regarding things?
yeah,
You said, I don't dabble, I go all the way.
yeah.
But that was in regards to golf.
Okay, first of all, I was using golf as an example.
Okay.
My dad's gonna be able to go, Dad, I golfed good the other day though, didn't I? Yeah, I did golf good the other day. No, I think again that just kind of goes back to I know I have a lot of addictive tendencies, and so when I get into something, and perfectionism, so golf I suck at, and I would like to be good at, and so every time I've played, like, it's the most frustrating thing because I better be able to figure it out, and so I go all the way. But I also think, like, that is kind of like a thing that I'm both mindful of how problematic and toxic that can become, but I'm proud of that too. There's this old Ed Bukowski poem where he says the basic line that has meant a lot to me. The poem's called Roll the Dice, but he says, if you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, why bother? Like, whatever you're going to do, commit to. Don't do 1 foot in and hope for the best. Like, give yourself to something. which I think is what most of us are looking for, is we want to say yes to something that's going to demand something of us and cost us something.
So it seems to me that you've found
And
several...
golf is really expensive. It's cost me a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I don't do because I can't afford it. But it seems like in the past, like there are things that you've thrown yourself into. Let's talk about music for a little while.
Sure.
What's the story? What do we need to know about you and music?
Oh, man. Well, I found out early that unlike my brothers, I'm not very good at sports. And so I had to find a new way to get a firm footing in the world. And so I learned how to play guitar. And then I learned that it was effective when it came to engaging women. And so I started to learn how to sing and play Travis Tritt songs in my parents' backyard. And it's funny because for me, songwriting kind of just became a thing. I started writing my own stuff, brought it to a record label that brought me on. But it's the same thing where it's like I feel the same way. I think we said this the other day even, but when I sit before a blank canvas or I sit with a guitar on my lap or I sit before a blank document and I'm being asked to write a sermon, it always feels to me like anything is possible here. And for me, like that's where the joy is. I get so much excitement over just like anything is possible here. It could go south real quick. It could be a complete dud. Or you could create something beautiful, and that wide spectrum of possibilities is that's where I get a lot of life.
I just followed you on Spotify.
Did you?
I did.
Did you dabble?
What's that?
You didn't even play a track, did you?
No, I listened to them all.
You listened to them all,
Yeah.
Jason.
Burn the doors.
Soulmates for real.
Burn the doors. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
I like Burn the Doors.
It's called Set the Doors on Fire.
Set the doors on fire.
You can tell you're really a big fan over here. That Burn the Doors stuff.
Never mind. I'm trying to be nice to you.
Hey, that's Lauren back there singing that one.
Yes,
She really cares to
right.
that one.
Well, I listened in order, in chronological order, and I noticed that she appeared.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And she has a beautiful voice. Your voice is fine.
Thank you. Yeah. We did this one show where we opened up for a guy named Dave Barnes, and it was a big deal. And this guy emailed me afterwards, this lady emailed me and goes, I thought you guys are good. You should really let your wife sing more than you. And I said, maybe you should keep some thoughts to yourself. I don't know.
Okay, so that you had some adventures with that, right?
Yeah.
I mentioned The Voice. You mentioned some other opportunities that opened for you. Can you just fill us in on some of that?
Yeah. So I did when I got married, my first month after marriage, I was invited to be on The Voice, and it was like the second season, and it was a really weird deal because they were still figuring things out. So I spent a month down in LA. And then before the blind auditions, they had already filled up all the slots, and so I never even got to go out there after giving a month of my time. And so I came back after thinking that this would be the big break. It's going to change everything for us. It wasn't. I came back, and I kept going with music, though. And so since that time, I've signed a publishing deal with a company called In the Groove in Minneapolis, and we've been writing a lot of songs for TV shows and movies and yeah.
So, TV shows and movies, can you say?
Yeah, I can. Things like Deadliest Catch, big-time shows like Naked and Dating, Good Morning America, Dateline has been good to us. The Jonas Brothers. What's the one about that, Lauren? What's the Sister Wives one? We were just talking about. Never mind. That doesn't matter. But yeah. It's a wide variety that it ends up. We actually don't even know until the end of every quarter when BMI sends us a check and they give us the report of like where the songs ended up. So then I always try to scramble on like YouTube to dial up these episodes and.
So you're still a musician.
Yeah.
You still make music.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have so much to learn. Let's go to the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
What does that look like? What do you do? How'd you get there?
Yeah. One of my best friends is Ryan Saunders. He was the head coach in 2020, I think is when he started, 2019. And
Looking at me won't help.
I know, I just am blanking on it right now. So when he became the coach, he asked if I would come with him. And so I said yes. And so what that looks like is the main ask on me is to provide a chaplain for both of the teams before every game. So we got the season kicking up in a couple weeks here. So 60 minutes prior to tip-off, I'll go to the locker rooms and I'll tell the guys we're going to meet in this room. And then we'll have like a 20-minute space where we can just look for encouragement in Scripture, pray for one another, and then go battle against each other out on the court. But a lot of the work, I think the more time-consuming, or where I spend more time in that one, is relationally, just one-on-one with the guys. And a lot of, it's funny. It plays into everything, right? Everything is connected. And I think in the same way where I've been at some of the lowest points and I see everything different now, I can also go to these guys who have been at some of the highest points and I see everything different now. And I kind of realize there's no point, be it like the top rung or the bottom rung, that is the definitive, like, this is it. Like, this will be the end-all, be-all. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, break down, or like just your big break, life is bigger than that. And so it's made me a lot more empathetic with them. But yeah, it's really fun.
Can you unfold that empathy for them? We talked a little bit about
Sure,
that. And
yeah,
I found
sure.
that really enlightening.
I remember, I want to be careful with using guys' names. There are players who have been very successful in the league, some on even other teams. And I remember having one conversation late at night with one of our guys who said that, he goes, man, like, honestly, I like basketball, but I love baseball. I love baseball. When I was in middle school, I was killing it in baseball. All my like I was on Gatorade Player of the Year, like I was on their scouting. I loved baseball. Even when he has the time, he would go over and take batting practice with the Saints, like privately, because he just wanted to be in baseball. But he said at some point he realized he's about to be 7 foot tall, and he was really good at basketball as well, and he got swept up in this new direction. And I think that's just a glimpse right there into this place where, like, I have gotten very personal with these players, and I've realized how lonely they can be. And I also realized that part of the loneliness is due to the fact that they can't say they're lonely and expect other people to feel bad for them. You're making all that money. You have everything you want. You're playing a game, and you're making all that money. There's not a lot of tears that are going to be shed for people who are struggling, so they kind of keep it to themselves, and they don't really know who to trust either. Like, who are they going to bring with them along the way that they can just say, like, you're a friend here just for the pure reason of being my friend. And so I think I never know how to really articulate it fully, because I don't want to say it's a hard place to be, because I think it's a good gift and it's an incredibly rare feat to reach there. But it's not without a lot of struggles and a lot of hardships attached. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like there are some punishments for the success.
Yeah. It just kind of, again, just dispels the myth that, like, of a rival, like once or even just the myth of, like, the grass is really green over there, and you're always doing the compare and contrast game. I'm guilty of that, at least. And I think when you get a peek behind the curtain, you realize everyone's got their dirty laundry, and everyone's trying to carry their weightier things, and it's we all have our stuff.
So, dirty laundry. We talked about give all your heart without losing your head.
Yeah.
And that was you trying to explain, like.
Well, where's Sauce? Well, they actually left when I told them. Okay, there's my guy. I coached his basketball team last year, third grade basketball. His name's actually Sawyer. We didn't name him Sauce, just to be clear. But Sauce's team had a lot of very emotionally volatile kids and a very emotionally stable coach, mind you. But I loved their passion, and I love how much they cared. It'd just be like if things went south, they went really south really fast. And so one of the things we kind of kept reminding them is that I don't want them to not be passionate or emotional. Give all your heart without losing any of your head. Like, give everything you got, but don't be dumb. Like, let's be thinking, let's be trying to practice the ways of maturation. So we talked about in that psych class, like, you don't get older just because you got another year under your belt. Like, you have to choose to grow up. It's an intentional choice you make in a lot of the small ways. And so that's what that was about.
Yeah, but that's not what I thought I was asking.
Oh, boy.
Because I mentioned the dirty laundry. So this is about balancing following your dreams and also like making sure that supper's ready.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. That is like the challenge of every passionate creative, every passionate person, I think, is I've seen how bad it can be when it's just passion and it's not perspective attached to it. And when it's just about chasing after something, but not taking account of things as well. And so I think naturally, or part of like the maturation process for me is the idea of I want to give, it's knowing where you start and where you stop. So from this time, I'm giving everything I have to create these pieces for Jason and Bethany, and we're going to do the best we can. But I also have to make sure that our kids are registered for basketball. And we also have to make sure that laundry gets changed, and we have a toilet upstairs that hasn't been fixed, and all the other things that are life. A lot of people have lost themselves and have lost their people through complete neglect out of fidelity to their passion and giving all of their heart and giving some of their head too. And I think growing up is learning how to not do that. Yeah. It's like the Hippocratic Oath, right? I want to be about healing. I want to do no harm. And I think that even if you can make beautiful paintings, it doesn't matter if there's people being harmed along the way. But there's a painter, maybe I shouldn't say this. There's a guy named Thomas Kincaid who died a couple of years ago. He made beautiful paintings. After he died,
one of our professors here went to school with his son.
For real?
Out in California.
Wow.
Yeah.
After he died, there was a lot of stories that came out of a lot of pain that never got to be healed, and a lot of addiction, and a lot of things that almost like there's such a fine attention to detail that is showing up in his paintings that are so exquisite and moving and evocative, and I don't know how he does it, but there's a cost to that as well. And I'm jumping to conclusions when I hear these things about him, so please don't I don't know all the things, but for me it was a stark reminder of going I don't want that to be my story. I want to be able to create and participate in life and give myself fully, but I don't want my wife have to pick up the bill at the end of it, or my kids to be another example like this is a couple of years ago, one of my mentors died in a mountain biking accident in the woods. Amazing man. For most of his kid's life, he was a workaholic dad. He was one of the top surgeons in the area. Amazing guy. And it took his wife saying, we're all going to leave you, for him to have a rock bottom moment where he turned it all around. But at that point, his eldest son had already left the house. He was in college. And I remember when Chris told me that even he's been this beautiful, present man for so long, he went down to California to be with his kid. And he went walking around the block with him, and he's like, I want to talk with him about the things we haven't talked about. And he goes, can we talk about what it was like growing up, with me being gone? And his son said, I'm not ready to go there, Dad. And they never got a chance to go there. And I think about just, again, it's really good work to pursue healing, but also it's really good work to do no harm. And learning how to dance with the both is important.
So back to Thomas Kincaid, I think I saw once the figure that 1 in 6 households in America have a Thomas Kincaid.
Hey, Tammy and Dave Moberg, you got one, right?
Right. Statistically, there's probably 10 more in the room. And go back to the Timberwolves, a player who, just feels lonely in that success, and go back to your surgeon friend who woke up one day and realized that his kids had a different experience. The theme there is there's a cost. There's a cost to success. These people would be considered successful.
I'm going to butcher it, but somebody said something brilliant once where they said, my biggest prayer for you, I don't want to butcher it. I pray that you get everything that you want, so you find out that it's never what you needed. And so that you can actually just get past that illusion and you can actually be present. That's what it reminds me of.
And having microphones and saying those things to people might be a shortcut. It might help people understand, young people thinking ahead to what are my aspirations.
Yeah.
What kind of aspirations do you think a young person ought to have?
I want to see more people have joy and put a priority on joy. And by joy, I don't mean dopamine hits. I mean like this disciplined attitude of, especially for young people, like your whole life is so wide open in front of you. Anything is possible, which is good and bad. It's both like it inspires you to dream, but it can also be like very daunting. But I think what can happen is you can just become so goal-oriented and tunnel-focused on whatever the next thing might be that you forget to be where you actually are. And so I don't know what my ultimate hope is, but I would hope that you would prioritize a healthy appetite of joy that doesn't put it off until you get to the next thing, but actually like participates in it today. That'd be my biggest hope. I think that would be healing to a lot of people's. I think that's a mental health cure. I think that's where balance comes in. When you have joy as a discipline and not just some surprise perk that you somehow stumbled upon accidentally, I think that be my biggest hope.
You ready for some Q&A from the audience?
Sure.
You ready for some Q&A, audience?
I just have a question about the background of this painting. Like, what's the name and why is it just, this is like the only painting that I see that's smeared.
Yeah, that is, that I did that one 3 weeks ago, and it was a night where I was feeling like I have nothing to bring to Bethany, and I remembered there was one thing that would make me feel less anxious, and so that was something I painted to try to deal with wanting to drink real badly that evening. So it doesn't have a name. I don't know what I would call it, but it was helpful. It slowed me down, and it gave me some good pace and perspective.
What's the quote? Love is moving through life slowly.
Yeah, that feels good.
Slowed you down.
Yeah.
Hands up.
Hi, can you talk a little bit about the black and white images upstairs, the small drawings? They're noticeably different than anything else in the gallery, but they're really quite exceptional.
Thank you. Yeah, they're all different a little bit. They and I wouldn't even say that they all come from the same mindset, really. I mean, they're ideas, and so part of it is like the man kissing his woman goodbye as they're both incredibly old, and it's like those last moments, and it's called "Thank You for This Life," and I think I woke up one morning and I looked at my wife and I thought, like, I know we got a lot we got to do today. I know we got like a lot of things we got to take care of, but we are together right now, and someday we'll fully realize the weight of how good of a gift it is to share these sheets and share our days. And so some pieces require a little more precision, and that's where I think the charcoal and the graphite goes into it.
Are those originals?
Yes. Yeah. Some of them are prints of past pieces, and they say those, yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Is there often narrative purpose behind the black and white versus the color, or like the tight controlled brush strokes versus like the wild kind of free brush strokes?
Yeah, sometimes. This is like for me, like, for example, the narrative purpose would be like holding on to the rope is very black and white. There's no gray room when it comes to trying to stay sober. Like, you better lock it down and hold on. So that was very much like, I want it to be stark. I want the contrast to be very strong. I want it to be like a defiance type thing for me, which felt like I can't be muddy or I can't be looser in that way. This is I've said this before, this is my favorite painting I've ever done. And I don't know why. I think it was the first time I learned how to like use more of a glossy type thing, but it has like this I don't know. I just love that spirit. I love what it does for me. And again, I think that is something that was just born out of. So I started with charcoal too, and so black and white just felt like the natural next play. So yeah, I think with a lot of the color stuff too, part of it is intentional. Like I want to stay looser, but also I'm not great at mixing color, and so it's like there's like a practical side where it's like I could spend all day trying to figure out how to get this one shade. Oh, we could paint it loose and call it abstract. I do think it's interesting though. There is kind of like you got to learn the rules to break the rules mentality, and I'm not as drawn to personally as much as I was like the act of replicating life with precision and full accuracy, unless it's like selectively called for, and I'm trying to capture a moment or something. But I'm more drawn towards the emotion attached to it, and being okay with that too.
So the fact that you started painting 4 to 5 years ago, it's astounding.
Thank you.
It's incredible. My question is, when you did art classes as a grade schooler, you're
Yeah.
in grade school, you're in high school, when was it evident that you were skilled, that you had this talent in art?
It wasn't. No, I mean, it's like, I wish I could say like, no, it was, it wasn't. I don't even have memories of those. Like I don't remember. Again, part of it was not just like about art. This was a medicinal space, and so for me, it wasn't about participating in painting as much as it was learning how to stand still and not produce or perform and just be alone in some of this stuff. And so, I don't have memories of being good at art. I don't have that. And
Wow. I mean, so 4 to 5 years ago, that's when you started painting. You thought, oh wow, I'm good at this.
Like I said, it kind of it's the addict in me that gets a little intense with things.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of your paintings typically focus on either a people or some sort of animal. By any chance, do you have a favorite kind of subject you like to paint?
That's a great question. I think I'm very drawn towards like Western art. I think there is something beautiful about like the cowboy spirit for me that just feels like like we've been talking about. It's like you have these responsibilities, but like there's a moreness that seeps beyond the responsibilities, and so I'm drawn towards that. I'm drawn towards Western symbols, animals that kind of speak to that freedom, nature. Yeah, thanks for that question.
What's your favorite Travis Tritt song?
Oh, gosh. I can't even, I don't know. I don't listen to him anymore. I'm honestly, it's what the bummer is, I'm trying to remember the first song I ever learned was Travis Tritt's. And the music video is him in prison. I was hoping you could go, oh, that's the song. No, yeah. So that was a terrible answer. Apologize for that.
I've got one. Can you talk about some of the nurturing imagery? When I see here sort of generational nurturing, I see a bear cub upstairs.
Yeah.
In the drawing that you talked about, the thank you for this life. There's this kind of ongoing theme that you return to.
Yeah. I think that growing up in a house with parents that were very nurturing, that cared about us individually, even with 5 kids, where it was a hot mess a lot of the times, that left an indelible mark. I think that for a lot of it is this, when you go through things and you're trying to re-find yourself, when you are the prodigal son and you end up in a pig pit and you come to yourself, it's a really hard place to be alone, and it's a really hard place to hear like instructions, and it's really hard to. There's so many people that wanted to help me that couldn't help me because like you don't know what it's like. Like you just don't know what it's like to feel like I would do anything for fresh air. Like, I would do anything for a respite from, you don't know what it's like. And so a lot of people with their best intentions would try to step and be with me, but what I needed was just somebody to sit with me and to care for me and not reprimand me. And I've had a lot of good people in my life that have done that for me. And yeah.
So you said that at the beginning, painting was like a place where you found like a lot of peace and you got to separate from like the pressure to perform and stuff. But now you're represented by a gallery, you're having shows and stuff like that. Sounds like a ton of pressure to perform. So how do you maintain painting as something that's peaceful and slow?
Yeah.
While also it's like a job.
Yeah. That's a great question that I don't have an answer for. I mean, part of it is like, I think it's part of it's like painting. It takes a lot of focus for me, but it comes effortlessly when it's in a place of peace. And I think when I'm really trying to force something, it feels exhausting. And like, so I know I have a high like sensitivity towards like, this is not going to be a fruitful time in the studio. This is going to be, I've tried to force that thing so many, and it's never worked. It just doesn't end up being what I want it to be, and I don't like have resonance with it. And it still is that space. You guys know what it's like that whenever you find something that you find flow in, right? Like that place where it's like, I'm losing track of time. Like, I just feel like I could do this for hours, and I feel like my mind's not all over the place, and I feel that when I'm in a good space, and I know when I'm not.
Hi.
Hi.
A bit ago, you were talking about balance and how balance is important in life. So, like, while making all these incredible things, you don't burn out your family and, not take care of them. How do you find that balance to do all these important and very cool things in your life while making this much art?
Through struggle, through having a partner like my wife where we can talk. So for us, being married to an addict is very hard in general. But I think in order for our marriage to make it to where it is, and for our relationships with our kids to be where it is that we have a very high priority on honesty and transparency in our house. And so if things are getting out of whack and the balance is not being produced, we have to name that, and we have to like readjust the dials in those moments. So it's not like there's one rule that we live and die by. It's a little bit more case by case, but I think there's a general sense of we know when we're leaving the other person with deficits, and we know that can lead to a dark place. And so it's season by season, learning how to do the dance in different ways and with new songs and new floors.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out a way to phrase this. So when you make art, for you, it's often medicinal.
Mm-hmm.
So you're processing events in your life that aren't always positive. There's a certain level of bravery you need to have to be able to present it to everyone. How do you combat that? How do you handle being brave?
Well, were you not here when I was like blubbering up here? There is. I mean, yeah, like I said before, like it is kind of like I just remember everything. I remember what I was feeling with each of these pieces, and it's yeah. So there's I don't know what your question was. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It is a vulnerable thing. It is.
You just do it. Kind of a thing.
Yeah, because I care. Like it's just you just care about these things.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
I think I've been trying to formulate a question since the day I met you. I've realized it all comes down to me needing to thank you. This work that you're putting forward is so beautiful, and you're doing it. You're simultaneously the broken and the builder, and I hope you know how awe-inspiring that is.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. That wasn't a question, though.
Matt's on Claire's email list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a question? Oh, okay. Oh, pass it down.
Hi. I was wondering, I don't have a lot of experience with like abstract art.
Yeah.
So in a piece like that one right there, like, I know to some people it might just look like you just like threw some stuff on there and called it a day, but
yeah.
Well, I was just wondering.
No, I mean, very intentional, every move in there.
Well, that was my question. Like, is any of it like super intentional, or
no? That one really wasn't. I mean, it was just the thing behind the thing for me is that it came from a very important space in my story, and so it's an extension of me more than it is like this thing that I, that thing. It's more like this is part of who I am than it is look at this art type vibe. That's a good question, though.
Good. Sorry, 2 questions. Follow up. How do you know when it's done?
I don't. I mean, like I said with Hello, I Love You, Goodbye painting last week, I had intentions of doing a lot more, but I felt like I felt peace, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. It's like just a sense of this, that you've taken it as far as you should. It's hard to discern if it's laziness or if it's like actual peace, but...
And then a rude question: How are you doing at the gallery?
Did you say a rude question?
Yes.
That's not a rude question.
How does it go for you? I mean, are you making it? Are you selling work?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for asking that. Last year I was their top selling artist at the gallery, which was very fortunate for that to happen. But again, that's testament to them knowing my story and wanting to be in my corner and support me. And so it's not just because I make good art, it's because I have people who care about me and have been in my corner. And
so not an art question, but I'd say a personal question.
Oh boy.
So what are the words an addict needs to hear?
Sorry, can you say it one more time?
What are the words an addict needs to hear?
What are the words that an addict needs to hear? That's a good question.
I could give context if that helps, because I have an older brother who is suffering. I think you remind me much of him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he needs something. And I think it's important to know.
Yeah. I think that one of the things that happens with addiction, because again, I equate it to that feeling of like needing air. And it's hard if you're not in that struggle to understand what that might mean. But what happens, I think, in active addiction is you start to convince yourself that you need that air. Like how it is how it has to be. It goes from like this choice, and it's destructive behavior, and it's slippery slope, and you got up in this spot, to like it's your daily bread that you require to make it through the day. And the idea, as simple and as profound as it is to just hear, like it doesn't have to be that way. There could be a new story still, like you're not too far gone. Like the beauty of stepping in an AA room and seeing people who have both been like, I was sober for 10 years and I messed up on Sunday night and I'm back here again, and seeing arms go around that person and go like, yes, you are. And we're going to be here with you the whole time. See people who have gone, I've lost everything, things I'll never be able to get back, but I'm not drinking. Powerful stuff. Like powerful stuff. The evidence of life change that happens in recovery rooms and happens is, it's the most evidence of life change I've ever seen, And so I have 10,000 questions about the nature of reality and life and all of these things, but one thing I know for sure is that it doesn't have to be this way, and it can get better. You can get up and go again, and I think that's the beautiful story of the gospel. I think it is that constant invitation to keep pursuing life. Thanks for that question.
How long does it take you to paint the paintings?
That's a good question. It depends on the painting. That deer one took about 2 hours, hour and a half maybe. But the guy with the cat, that was like, I kept revisiting that one, and I still got an ew on the other end of it. But the cat one took me a little more time just to feel at peace. The Jesus and Joy one, that took a couple hours. because I think really that one meant a lot to me. So maybe it's tied a little bit to how in it I am. I don't know. And also is like, is it going to be a very like, I'm going like precise, or are we going loose, or how are we doing this thing that changes things too? That one right there, the untitled one, Craving one, that was about a 10, 20 minute hot mess. Which again, like this, sorry, that was rude, sorry. That white painting though, and like that one, those aren't like things where it's like, this is my art. It's more like, this is my story, all these paintings, and that's a part of it. And so it belongs in here. Sorry.
Not a question. I hope that's okay.
Yeah.
When I first saw Jason putting up the paintings, I looked at him and I said, I really want to paint like this. And when I was walking through the gallery the other day, getting ready for this, it just sparked such a urge in me to paint.
Oh, good.
Because I don't paint as often as I'd like. I've started painting more over the summer. But just looking at the art, it really made me want to paint.
Oh, that makes me so happy. That makes me really happy, because my hope is that, you know, joy is generative and it should seep out, and it should be like, yeah. That's awesome. Thanks for saying that.
All right, this one's more of a job advice kind of question. You
Oh
could
boy.
say.
Oh boy.
Trust me, this does correlate with you, so don't worry.
Okay. Is it like, when are you going to get a real job? Yeah. That's
No,
fair.
no.
Did my wife tell you to ask that?
I do sports broadcasting on the side.
Awesome.
You could say. And that's a career kind of what I want to get into. And I just figured I'd ask, when you're like interviewing an athlete and anything, what would be like your best way to like approach it, I guess, would be my question.
Interesting. Yeah. So there are, so my role with the team is more relational, where they know I'm not trying to take something from them. You know what I mean? So there's not raised eyebrows when I'm talking to them, because they know I'm in their corner. And I've seen some reporters where it's like, I won't. I'm not gonna name names. There's some people like on the team. There's certain reporters where the team knows, like, be very careful with every word you say around that person, like, because they have not been. They're takers. But then there's a guy like John Krasinski, who's a good friend of mine, and he is somebody who has been supportive of these players as people. And I think if you can see the player as a person, you're going to be okay.
Last question right here.
Hi there.
Hi.
I wanted to ask a little bit more about another big art form in your life, songwriting. And how maybe these connect to that. I see in all of your paintings stories, and I think songwriting is one of those art forms that leans itself so heavily to stories.
Yeah.
Because it has, their words.
Yeah.
So I guess, and I'm asking also, this is medicine, then what is songwriting to you?
Similar, yeah. It kind of is a season of life for me a little bit, like whatever I'm, where I find the most life, I guess. So songwriting though it's like I said earlier, it's that it shares the same address as art, in the sense that I feel the joy of possibilities, like when I sit down with the guitar or piano. I don't know how it is kind of like that sense of like anything could happen here. Do you write songs?
I do.
So do you know what I'm talking about? Like when you put together a chord arrangement of sorts, and you can just hear a story in your head, and you don't know fully what it's going to look like, but you know there are wrinkles that need to get ironed, and you want to see it all the way through. That's fun. That's so good. And I think like that is, again, that idea of like just following where it leads is with art and with songwriting for me what it's been.
Awesome.
Okay, we've come to that awkward part of the show where we put chairs away pretty soon. But before that, let's have a round of applause for our friend Matt.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. And I let me just say too, I'm so thankful for Bethany. Like this invitation to take in a wild card like me, but not just take me in and find me tolerable, but to like fully support me and invite my people all out here. And just for you guys to bear witness to my story is a good gift for me. So thank you. Thank you.
Matt will continue to be around, and snacks are that way.
Perfect.